Hi there, so welcome to this video for COMP3218, Game Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers on the course, and I'm here with...
Ioan Daniel Marinov, one of the demonstrators.
Brilliant. So in this video we're going to be looking at a number of games that the students have produced. This is their second coursework, and we asked them to produce a narrative game with a story engine where the story engine means that the game world affects the story and the story affects the game world. So we'll be talking about that, talking about the agency, about whether they've got the sort of thematics right in the game, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, so let's have a look at this first game, which is Sort It Out. So I've got a menu, no music, I've got achievements, which obviously I haven't got any yet. So if I hit start game, enter your name. So let's be Bob. Aha!
Okay.
Shall I click on the phone?
Yeah, I think that's...
Oh, boss, welcome to the first day on your job, Bob. Click anywhere to continue, okay? It's pretty simple. All you need to do is to grab a letter, get rid of that, from the pile to your left. Okay? So is this a Papers, Please style thing?
It looks like it.
Oh, try grabbing one now. Oh. Check that the state and country listed on the address match by clicking on the map on your desk. Okay. Oh. Ah.
So it was...
East Livingham in Monteria. Okay. Just laughing at the name.
East Livingham, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. If the state matches the country, then drag the envelope to the country's mailbox. Okay. Oh. If the state doesn't match the country, drag the envelope to the return to sender box. Okay. Okay, so I can't drag it. Oh, there we go. So go to... Yep. Oh. What's going on? Looks like it's having a bit of a moment. Ah, has it crashed?
Did it crash or...
Oh no, I can still move it.
Maybe try putting it a bit lower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frederick is your supervisor. He's sat on the desk to the left of you. Okay. You can go to his desk by pressing the red arrow in the top left corner. He'll keep an eye on you to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. Your probation period is 3 days. Glory to Kust. It's very Papers, Please.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, there's his desk.
And
here's my desk. So I think, has my desk got a permanent dark thing on it? I think that might be a bug.
Did you, I think you clicked on the lamp and that's why it turned off.
Oh yes. Look at that. Okay, Liebendorf, Kust. So Kust, Liebendorf. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So I will send that to Kust. There we go. Ordenstraten. What was that?
It's
Eschen.
That's okay.
Eschen. That's all right. So let's... End of day.
End of day.
God, can you imagine having a job where you had to sort 3 letters and then go home? That'd be alright, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Go to work. Oh. I love the telephone, that's great. There's been a recent wave of imbeciles using the wrong stamps for their letters.
Oh.
Okay, alright, so the government letters should be fine, but check all the civilian ones. Make sure that any letters with brown stamps are addressed to Kust, and any letters with green... Oh god, this is going to go wrong. Any letters with green stamps are addressed to a foreign country. Okay, so brown ones are us, Kust. If the letter has the wrong stamp, put it in the return to sender box. Okay. Can you to check for wrong addresses as well. Glory to Kust. Okay. Right. Okay, so this
that's brown.
That's brown, and that's Eschen, so that shouldn't be going there, right?
Yes.
So we're going to send that back. Ooh. For example, and the country doesn't say... Oh.
It just states
or if it has a brown stamp or just a Kust, or a green stamp that's just a Kust. Okay.
Oh.
You put the letter in the wrong country's mailbox. Did I? Are you off for now? Oh.
Huh.
Not quite sure what happened there. 3 strikes and you're out. I think part of the problem is the tutorial. I'm taking actions, and the tutorial isn't necessarily keeping up with what I'm doing. So I have to be careful. There's been a lot of protests here in Lippendorf recently. As a result, the Ministry of Suppression have asked us to open all non-governmental internal mail. Okay. Those are the letters addressed to Kust with brown stamps. To open a letter, first you need to right-click on it to turn it over. Okay, so that's a green stamp.
I mean, I guess you should do it because.
Oh, now grab the steamer, but that's that's a green stamp.
I know, yeah, but I'm not sure.
That's the metal thing next to the glue, and hover it. What? Oh, that thing there. Hover it over the letter. Okay, you can read the letter by right-clicking on it. I hope you're saying stay if you're taking part in these protests. It's nice. Okay, I've read it. If it makes any mention of the recent protests, fax it to me. But it's a green one. I thought it was only brown Kust ones we had to do. Dragging and dropping the open letter onto the fax machine. Let's just guess is that thing. Who are you faxing this to? Boss. Now glue this letter back by pasting the glue over the letter. Okay. And continue to sort letters as normal. What do I carry that on then?
I guess yes.
Bracken East what? Who? Glory to Kust.
That's in another.
Brackenmark East Bullenminster.
That's in a wrong one, I think.
Ah, so we turn that to sender anyway. Do you think that he wants? Does he want stuff faxed to him that's wrong? So that's Broadly Eschen. So that's green. So we're okay with that anyway. But it's in the wrong place, isn't it?
Eschen.
Yeah, Broadly's in Monteria.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. So I'll say. Oh no, that's the wrong. Oh dear, that's the wrong one. Right, and that's Brackenmark. Oh, yeah. Dorfoot, Brackenmark.
Okay.
No, Dorfoot somewhere else. So that's wrong.
That's it, Monteria, yeah.
Get rid of that one. Dorfoot, Monteria.
Ah, that's correct, I think.
Yes, we can send that to Monteria, that's fine. There we go. It's harder than I expected. Your probation period is up. Frederick will no longer be paying as close attention to you. This is not an invitation to act up. If you spot any misconduct, you will be fired. Glory to Kust!
I wonder if we can put stuff in his...
Yeah, that's interesting. So who is this guy? So can we get him into trouble, do you think? Let's have a look. Odenstraten Eschen. Oh, hello.
Oh, no.
Alright, well, let's deal with this one. Eschen, Odenstraten, that's right. Yeah,
and it's green.
And it's green, so we can just put it in the Eschen box. You!
Oh no.
There's money inside that envelope. That money is yours to take. Just open the letter and right-click the money. There's more of that, Kevin, if you can do me a small favour. Part of the Liebendorf independence movement, I want to know what the government is doing with the protesters who have gone missing. I want you to fax me a copy of one of the Kust government's letters, the ones with the red stamps, by the end of the day.
Oh wow.
Can you help me? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You're helping a worthy cause. The ones with the red stamps. Throw the envelope in the bin. So can I just steam this open?
Oh.
I want the money. I need the money.
Right click it.
There we go. And envelope.
Try to steam it, to glue it maybe.
Good point. Thank you. I forgot about that. But I still can't do anything with it. Oh, so it was run the wrong way. No, I can flip it round. I can't drag it on. I can't drag it.
Huh.
Okay. I think we might have a bug. In fairness, it's been a bit strange with the clicking on stuff. So Ah,
Okay.
because the animation has the money in it, presumably.
Yeah.
Although I just want to throw it away. I think that's gone. I can. What's going on over here? I can't do anything.
I
noticed that there's a problem down the bottom when you click on stuff. I wonder if I've dragged the envelope too low or something. It's like,
maybe
this is where the text comes up. Okay, I'm gonna restart, zip through the first bit, and we'll see where we get to.
Okay, we could try to start discussing the marking maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back in. Yes. Let's do that. So I guess the first thing is the presentation.
Yeah. So we can talk about the information design, graphics, and audio.
Yeah.
For audio, apart from the telephone, there isn't much audio, maybe?
No, there isn't. Which is a shame because actually the rest of the game is really quite nice. This is going to be one of those games it's very hard to talk about and play at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the graphics are lovely. I mean, even like simple things like this little scroll here is cute. Or like earlier on when we had the guy appeared at the window and the red letter drop in. That was really nice little animation. And I love the pixel style. And it kind of, it has that, it has the right sort of Soviet era greys and browns and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that kind of works for me as an aesthetic.
Yeah, it's definitely appealing graphics.
Prem, that's not in Prem. That's I can go into get rid of it. Right, go to work. Right.
So, okay, yeah, consistent and effective and appealing graphics. It feels like.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe even thematically resonant.
I think the graphics are thematically resonant. I think they've done a really nice job, actually.
Yeah.
The audio is a bit of a shame because they're very little audio.
So there's some audio effects, but no music.
Well, there's not really some audio effects, is there? There's a phone ringing. So what's the one below that?
Well, a poor would be little and poorly chosen audio. I don't think it's poorly.
No.
Because it does, it's a phone. It works nice like that, but yeah, that's a hard one.
I think put it between the two because it's not poorly chosen. Well, no, I think it has to be lower because it's the only sound effect in the game, isn't it?
Maybe later there are going to be more, but
yeah. I think put it on the lower one. I think that's all they've got, so it has to be low for that. I think.
Yeah. And what about the information design?
The information design, I think it's good.
Yeah, it's
this is really clear. The address is nice. That the map is cute and easy to read. It's organised, very nicely. This sort of skeuomorphic, isn't it? When it's kind of like the real thing, and it's very effective. I really like it.
Yeah, it does sound like so. It looks like all key information is shown. Is it shown clearly?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Do we have a novel yet clear way of showing key information, or is it just?
I don't think it's novel. It's just very well executed, I think.
Yeah, it does.
It's the same place, isn't it? There you go. I haven't had to open any of these yet. So I only have to open the brown ones, I think. Oh, hang on, that's got the wrong stamp. Wrong stamp. That's it. Hang on a minute. Is this a bug? Doesn't say Kust. A brown stamp not addressed to Kust, or a green stamp that is addressed to Kust. Yeah, I did that. But it was a green stamp addressed to Kust, and I put it in return to sender, and then it's...
Wait, was it addressed to Kust?
Yes, I'm sure it was. Right, monitor it. So right, so that's not the right place, right? So that goes in the return to sender. Liebendorf Kust. So that's
now
so that's right, and it's got a brown stamp. So
yeah.
So I have to open this up. Okay, doesn't mention anything. Fax it to me. So it looks to me that the other thing that's going on here is that the game isn't synchronized properly with the tutorial. So it's still giving me random letters, right? So this is a random letter that doesn't mention the protests. So I actually should deliver it, right?
I think yes.
So, but I've not had the chance to try. So here we go. Steamer open. This one looks like it.
Oh.
So this is the one that the tutorial should have given me. So what I do now is I say, let's fax it to you, and I fax it to you by. How do I fax it to him?
The fax machine on the right. You should drag it.
That thing. That was it.
I think you should drag it when it's open, maybe.
Okay. Boss.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Continue to sort letters as normal, so that goes to Kust. Glory to Kust. Okay, so on Brackenmark. That's not the right place, so now you go away. East Bullenmünster. No, that's the wrong place. There's something off about grabbing these. If half the time I click on them and it doesn't get them. Frerak. That's not Brackenmark either. Get rid of that. Bregnan Kust. That's not right either.
But do we open it? Because
yeah, I don't know. It's not clear.
I think it's because the sender got the wrong country or the wrong province or something, but I still thought they're sending to Kust. So in a sense, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we should send that to the boss.
And then return to sender.
There we go. And then
return to sender, I think, because it is the wrong.
So it's okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see where we get to. Oh, this is not an invitation at top. You'll be fired. Glory to Kust. Absolutely.
The only thing I'm wondering is it doesn't anywhere. I think it doesn't say how long you have left.
No, you'd think
because at some point you just say end of the day and that's it.
Here's the little guy coming and giving us our letter. So this is Montero. That was right. So let me put that. Okay, let's see if we can get this bit working. Oh, there's money inside that envelope. The money's yours. Just open the letter, right click the money. By the end of the day. So I need to fax them the red stamps. I will help you. Okay. I like the fact they repeat it. That's good. So I take it, I steam it open, I take the money, and I throw the envelope in the bin.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. It's red. So Liebendorf Kust, which is that right? Yes. So this is here we go. It's exciting. This is official government message. I hope you're safe taking part in those protests.
Huh, okay.
Okay, that's a bit strange. Let's send it to the mysterious man. Even the little animation of it faxing is fabulous. Okay, so I put it back together. And let's send that to Koost. End of day. Right, what was next on our list?
Yeah, so it's meaningful play, and we should look at mechanics, controls, and bugs. So
the mechanics, I obviously select these. I've got the. Hang on, let me call a minute. You fool! You've fallen into my trap. I'm on the run for the Kush government for treason, and I have evidence that you betrayed them too. Access to customer to send to the press. That's where you come in. Okay. If you don't help me, be caught, and I'll implicate you too. Send as many as you can to the press by the end of the day. The government will probably track down where it came from. You won't use your own. Here we go. So we get to use bloke next to us.
Oh, wow.
Right, so this is blue. I don't remember blue. They were just not... That's fine, isn't it? So I think we just send that on. Yeah, here we go.
Probably.
Prem. There we are. Koost. It's a red one for Koost. So let's open it up. So I'm guessing that these don't say anything exciting. It doesn't mention the protests, but he wants them sent anyway.
Your fax machine or the other?
Oh, good point. Oh no! No! I can't go back. I can't go back. Stop. I'll fax it to the mysterious man.
And now you can probably fax it again, but on the other.
So if I put that there, and then do that. It just appears.
Okay, yeah.
Let's send it to the press. Actually, if I just go there, does it come back over here? Yeah, it's just back over here. That might have unstuck me before if I'd done that.
Yeah.
One. So if I do that, and then that's the wrong one. That's the wrong place anyway, isn't it? Oh no, it's the right place. So we will send that on. Just end of day.
End of day. Only
right.
2.
So what was next on our list? Because we'll be doing this forever otherwise.
So for mechanics.
Oh, Frederick was caught leaking classified. Oh, what a shame. He seems such a nice guy. A man short. Step up and take his position as supervisor. Congratulations, I guess. Male sort of Frederick accused of leaking government secrets.
Oh wow.
Okay, so that's it. Right, so we've worked our way through the game. So
okay.
I'll go through again, but I will try and choose a different option and see what happens. And while I'm doing that, let's have a look. Oh, we got a promotion.
You get it. That's like
Yeah. Enter your name. What should we be? Let's be Claire this time. Right.
So for mechanics, I think we have a set of complementary mechanics.
Yeah. So I've got. Yeah. I think they all fit together. It feels like I'm sat at a desk. I like the fact that I have to sort of steam things open and all that kind of thing. That sort of all works quite nicely. Oh, is this broke? I can't pick that up anymore again. Let's just do this. Yeah, there you go. So that resets the letter.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there's a minor bug.
So yeah, you can do quite a few things from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Is it a white set?
Well, what have I got? I can get a letter, I can steam it open, I can read the letter, I can answer the telephone, I can fax, I can drop it.
Bin it.
I can bin it.
Send it to a wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an enormously wide set, but it is maybe halfway between the two.
Yeah, I was
because they're complementary. They work well together, definitely.
Yeah. What about bugs? There have been a few.
So I think we saw what we thought was a game-breaking bug, but I think hitting that button up the top there resets it.
Yeah, it probably would have worked.
So I would say what we have here is some minor bugs.
And the game is reasonably complex? Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Quite. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how are the controls? I think you mentioned how it's a bit strange moving the letter with the mouse.
Yeah, it's just that it doesn't seem to. For some reason, everything else is quite good. So like the map works really well, but like, I'm just trying. Yeah, it's working now, but sometimes the letter won't click, and also it's a bit. If I drop that on the label, it doesn't work. I have to drop it on the
Where the mouse is.
Oh yeah, on the actual. So I think there's maybe it's a little bit finicky, but actually, generally speaking, the controls work really well. The steaming and the glue is really nice actually. It feels, because you have to shake it backwards and forwards. It feels really natural.
So usable controls.
Definitely
Or
usable. So I would say we've got a reasonable set of. So excellent would be a reasonable set of intuitive and smooth controls. Yeah.
yeah.
And I would say that it pretty much is there, right? I think it's kind of, it's not novel. There's maybe an issue with some stickiness. Like there, look, there you are. But the tutorial's
it's probably
up.
Yeah.
So I've got to get rid of the tutorial. So I think yeah, there you go. So that first click didn't register for some reason. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think now we can go to the story engine.
Yeah.
And see how the game affects the game world affects the story, and the story the game world.
So what do we got? We've got kind of, in terms of the narrative affecting the game world, that's interesting, because the narrative, it doesn't change the game world, but it changes my behavior in the game world, right?
Yeah. I mean, at some point they do give you a steamer and some glue, which in a sense does change.
Yeah, you're right actually. Yeah, so there's a point where that appears, isn't there? So I can't. Okay. So what am I supposed to? Just tell me to check. I've lost where I am in the story now.
I think it should be brown, and
I'm just checking the colours.
Because yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one. So that's return to sender, because it's, yeah. Is that a bug? I'm sure there's something going on when I think I'm dealing with a brown stamp not addressed to cust, which that one wasn't.
Yes.
So I think that's a minor bug, because I think it's counting those incorrectly. It said letters sorted correctly -1 as well. So I think
maybe.
I think we maybe just knock them down a bit for the bugs. So I think we're satisfactory for that. Game is reasonably complex, but there are minor bugs.
Yeah.
Right. So here we go. Let's go. So that's wrong. So let's put that.
So we do have some examples where the story impacts the game world.
Yeah. So we've got the ability to steam. So so yes, I think the story has affected the game world. And then certainly the game world affects the story, because my actions. So last time when I faxed it with the other person's fax machine, it meant they got arrested. So we've definitely got them going both ways, which I guess is at least satisfactory for both, right? Some examples.
Yeah.
The question is, do we have a number of examples?
Yeah. It feels like there are more examples, the game affecting the story, rather than vice versa.
Yeah. So with the ending, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the game affecting the story, I think we're at the good level. For the other one, I think it's probably just at the satisfactory level. So that's the story affecting the game world. Yeah. I unless you've noticed anything else.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, there you go. There's that bug again. Oh no, it's moving now.
If we count the red letter, and that's part of the story.
That's true.
And it kind of
that's true.
is like changes, the dynamic of the game, I guess, because you don't expect something like that happening.
Yeah.
Maybe in between satisfactory and good for story to game.
Yes, let's do that. I'm still trying to do this right, because what I want to do is to find out whether what happens if I don't help the person.
Yeah, that's
that's right. So put that in there. Heilstadt. Kust. It's the wrong stamp. So here we go. So this has definitely got the wrong stamp, right? So
yes.
Let's check this. So it's Heilstadt, Kust. Heilstadt is in Kust, definitely. But it's not brown. So I'm going to return to sender.
Okay. It doesn't... Or maybe...
Seems to be happy. Alright. That's right. Okay, yeah, that's doing that's right as well. Oh, getting good at this whole sorting letters business. That's correct as well. Crossland. This is Kust.
I think it's right as well.
It's right, but now I have to steam it open, don't I?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna, so I think they kind of crazy. Oh, so it's mentioned the protests, so fax it to me. Send it to the boss. So presumably we could not fax it to him, and he wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Or fax it through the other machine, maybe even.
Yeah. That's That's right. Yeah. So what's our next criteria?
It's agency. And we have the richness of structures, which is the branches, and the quality of choices.
Yeah.
Which is the type of choices.
So what Papers, Please does, because this is essentially a male version of Papers, Please, right? What Papers, Please does, if I remember right, is you have your job because you have a family, and you have to feed your family, and if you're not processing applications appropriately, your family starts to suffer, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, there's a reason to do your job properly, right? Here, the reason's not quite as strong, right? You're just trying to stay in the game, basically. So
yeah.
Kust, so I'm going to just return to sender. 13 letters. That's also odd the way some days seem to have loads of letters in and some don't. Right, so he's not paying attention to me anymore, which is quite good. Liebendorf Kust. Yeah, that's right, but it's got the wrong stamp. There you go.
So yeah, in terms of choices, there isn't really, as you said, the same amount of, I guess, thought into making a choice because your family is going to die. It's just being right and not getting strikes and fired.
Oh, so I don't care. I'll just ask your colleague to help. Oh, that's interesting. So they're going to get him to do it. You have my fax number. Throw the envelope in the bin.
Or you can... I know, actually no, yeah.
Well, I'm going to take the money.
And then in the bin.
And then put it in the bin. It's interesting. You come across. I think we might have a problem.
try to glue it, or...
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh dear. Ah! There we go. Get rid of it. Oh.
End of day. Huh.
So that's goes. So I'm being a good employee today. Yeah. So on the game notes, did they have a narrative structure? Do they show you all the different things that you could potentially do?
Yes, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, Frederick, my fax machine is on the fritz.
Oh,
Can I fax these with your machine? No.
Oh,
Frederick.
he's doing the same.
He's doing the same to us. No, I'm busy. Why not? Because you're holding government stamped letters, Frederick.
Wow.
I know what you're up to. Honestly. Just you can't get the staff. That's right.
Oh,
Agent
interesting. So I'm reading at the reading. I'm reading the narrative structures, and something interesting is happening.
Okay.
Because you said no.
This is Agent Ballenbuster from the Ministry of Suppression. Your boss might have leaked classified to the press.
Yeah.
So have you noticed anything suspicious? Use the boss's fax machine to fax. Yeah, it's him. Go on, just dish him in. Anything to help the Ministry of Suppression. Sounds like such a lovely part of government. Hailstat. That's not there. That's somewhere else. Okay, go on, people. Rules exist for a reason. Okay. So in terms of richness of structure, then I'm guessing from this that actually there are quite a few branching points depending on the actions I take.
Yeah. There's mostly the branching points are through the dialogue.
Yeah. So they've got. Presumably, there's also branching points like if I really messed up with all the letters, if I didn't do my job properly, or if I said I'd do it and then didn't do it. I'm guessing that must have an effect as well. Brocken. What's that? Brockenmark. Oh, it's at the top there. That's not Brockenmark. Oh, there we go. Return to sender. Yeah, I do find it odd that I don't know where I am in terms of the days. That's a government letter.
It's probably right.
Yep, off it goes. Hello. There we are. Esham.
So let me check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 endings.
Yeah.
So in a sense.
So I think we've definitely hit several branching points, right? Which is what you need for good.
Yeah.
And also there's branching points throughout the game, right? So I think that's actually the excellent level. But I think they do probably form a tree. So I don't think we've got a more complex network. A little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
With some of the things.
Yeah, it's like an inverted tree.
So I think that's at the excellent level.
Yeah, I think as well. And what about the quality of choices?
That's interesting. So they are proper grade choices, right? So I've got the whole thing. Do I want to help this out? The only thing I would say is that they've not. So they've given me the machinery to make interesting choices, and they've set it up. But what they haven't done is they haven't filled out those areas to motivate me. So this is what I mean about why am I here doing this job? Why should I care about this job? So in Papers, Please, you care because it's to feed your family, right? And you get told about the state of your family if you don't do your job properly. Why would I care about the protests? So, I mean, obviously it's set up so it's like the Ministry of Suppression. right? But for all I know, this could be a lovely government that's doing lovely things, right? So
True,
so it's not really telling me about anything the government's doing. I mean, maybe I should be reading more of these letters, but the letters don't actually give me that information. All they do is tell me, they just mention the word protest, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not getting any information about what the government is up to. So I think that they've set this up really nicely, but haven't filled out the background in order to motivate me. So I think what we've got here is we've got some interesting choices, right? And in terms of managing player agency, I don't think they really have, because it's just a tree, right? So there's nothing there to say, because I'm working in a very managed structure, I think.
Yeah, it's mostly. I mean, there's
also, I've posted a lot of letters today. I'm wondering whether
there's
this is
two
a problem.
paths that lead to the same outcome of you getting arrested, but every other path is has a single end. So it sounds like, yeah, they do have some interesting choices.
So I think so. Excellent would be interesting choices and an effective system for managing player agency, right? And I just don't think they're quite. They're quite there, but but maybe halfway between that and good. Attempts to manage. There are some attempts to manage player agency. It's just you don't need many because it's a relatively simple tree structure.
Yeah. Now comes the interesting parts, the poetics. So, how do we feel about that?
Well, I am wondering. I've been stuck here doing these for a long time now. I'm wondering whether this is timed out or something. Again,
which story do you think the game is based on? Fable.
Oh, that's a good question. What have they said?
It's the fox and the goat. Because I guess the revolutionary or the other person is like the fox and trying to.
I'm getting bored now. I'm just going to pop these letters through the. Yeah. I think this maybe's crashed, or at least got into a loop. You're fired. Yeah. All right. I tried, but I just got bored doing games in the same way. Let's be Andy. Okay. Okay. Problem is, I know I've got to sort them all. I really can't be bothered. There's only so much letter sorting you can do. Right, that's the wrong place. Yeah, so I think the quality of choices, yeah, we'd be halfway between. But we've got several branching points throughout. So that takes us on, I think, to poetics. Is that right?
Yeah. The poetics and how the narrative and gameplay.
So in fact, you just asked me that, didn't you? That shows you how much my brain's engaged on trying to figure out whether things are from the right place or not. So the poetics. So this is, do the narrative and gameplay complement one another? I'm sorting letters. It feels thematically resonant. And I guess the way that the things that you're doing in the game, which is effectively to intercept letters and send information to people, kind of sits with it. But what you're actually doing is sorting and sending stuff to the right place. So I suppose the gameplay, the subversive bit, comes in and you're sorting and sending to a different place. So I suppose it's resonant in that respect. What about the moral then? So the moral is, what's the moral of the fox and the goat? I can't remember.
Don't trust strangers completely, or something like that.
So, so that I've got the weird. So that's the guy who could have sort of double crosses me by
Yeah,
bringing
exactly.
me.
By saying, "Hey, I'm just a fugitive, but I'll help you," and then, "Ha, you fell for my trap."
Yeah, I
And,
mean, I suppose that fits. So I would say that good would be that the narrative and gameplay complement one another, and the key mechanics are in keeping with the themes of the story. I think it does achieve that, right? I wouldn't say that they necessarily emphasize things. It just doesn't feel quite rich enough for that. Eshin. Oh, it's gonna make me do this all the way through, isn't it? Motion. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So that takes us on to the techniques. The techniques are nice, actually. I really like. I think the kind of the little animations in here are really cute. The guy coming in and giving you the letter, the guy dropping off the red letter. It's also told through here. So I think that's. I mean, it's not millions of different techniques, but it is the use of more than one game writing technique. And I think it's appropriate and consistent as well. The big events are shown as animations. The small events are not. They're consistently shown as so. I think that it's an excellent for techniques.
Yeah.
And pacing.
Pacing, yeah.
So pacing, I definitely feel like it's got ascending pacing because the tension goes up as you're playing. Does it have a clear final peak? I don't know if it does. It doesn't feel like what I'd like to be doing in a game like this is through the letters uncover some kind of conspiracy, right? So at the end, I mean, you could argue that making the decision about whether to, dob in Frederick or the other guy, you could argue that that's sort of a peak of sorts, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not an enormously strong one, I think. Right? I kind of feel like maybe there could have been something a little bit more subtle. Or maybe there could have been something you discover in the letters that you read that actually causes you to behave in a slightly different way, or gives you a reason to frame your fellow person.
Yeah.
Because it kind of it's all that motivation's kind of a bit lacking. So I think that we've definitely got ascending pacing, and I think that the final peak perhaps isn't that clear. So maybe halfway between satisfactory and good.
Yeah. Halfway sounds about right.
Have we dealt with all the design elements now?
Yeah. That was the final one, which leads us to the feedback.
So what did they say they were told?
When explaining our initial ideas to the lecturers and PhD students, they encouraged us to make sure our chosen fable, the Fox and the Gold, was reinforced throughout the game's story engine, as our initial story plan only included the moral of the fable in the beginning. So they also offered advice on including implicit decision-making within the gameplay, as opposed to making every choice explicit and binary.
So that's the decisions to. So I can say I'm going to fax the stuff and then not fax the stuff, right? For example.
Yeah, so therefore our game includes some more explicit choices where buttons are displayed, as well as implicit choices where the player's actions during the gameplay affect the state of the story engine.
Yeah, okay.
So that's all they said for feedback.
So that latter. So go on, summarize them. So the first one was
make sure they encouraged us to make sure our chosen fable was reinforced throughout the game.
Yeah, which it kind of is, because you've got do you trust the stranger? Do you dob in Frederick?
Look before you leap.
Yeah, I think that kind of. So I think that's kind of true. And then the second one was to do with making choices explicit and implicit.
Yeah, because previously they would have only buttons for choices, which would lead to a boring and monotonous gameplay.
Right.
Just clicking yes or no, I do that or not. But now, there's also implicit choices in the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
So those are the two.
Yeah. Okay. So and that works quite nicely as well, and gives a bit more variety. So, so I think good is feedback has been addressed and changes have been successful. And excellent would be that it's been interpreted and the changes have been successful. So, have they? So interpreted essentially means have they just done what they were told, or have they managed to translate that into their game in an interesting way? Now they kind of have, actually, with the kind of some of the implicit choices in the game and making sure they've dealt with them. They've done that quite nicely. Unfortunately, I haven't. This is still taking me through the. Oh, I don't. I just want to get through this now. Yeah. So unfortunately, I can't go through to the point where I say I'm going to do something and then don't do something, right? Because that's what I'm kind of interested in doing. In fact, I'm just gonna. Oh, I'm fired. Right. So if I restart, if I look at my achievements, yeah, I haven't actually managed to achieve any of these other things. But I think we got there. Yeah. I mean, I like that. I kind of, if I'm honest, a little bit too close to Papers, Please. But a nice version, right? A nice kind of implementation of that idea. So
yeah, definitely with some polish, this can really shine. Very. So finally, for feedback, I would say it's between good and excellent.
I think so. Yeah, I think between the two. Right, let's move on to our next game. Okay, so our next game is The Keeper. I've got a continue button, but I've not played it before. So I will press new game. Oh, that is quite loud, actually. Let me adjust it a minute. That's a bit better. Introductions are in order. Leo here. Press S or down arrow to continue. Adventurer, archaeologist, or grave robber, depending on who you ask. You've caught me as I search for an ancient artifact with the power to do almost anything. Probably a bit exaggerated, but there's always a bit of truth, even in fairy tales. Enough talk, let's move. Use A and D to move around. Right. Okay, let's go with this. Right, A and D to move. I can jump. A voice is heard from the shadows, calm yet unnerving. Greetings, adventurer. Hello there. Adventurer, you have entered the final... Oops. Tell me other. It's Leo. Sorry, I pressed the button. So actually, this shows you that when you bring text onto the screen like this, it can be really infuriating. Because I read faster than the text comes on screen. And that's when I'm reading it out. So imagine what it's like if I wasn't. Right. First will be the warrior Gads. If you're up to the challenge, proceed. Oh, I got bored again. So what it should do, I think, is the second press should bring the full text onto the screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, the warrior Gast. E. Would you like to play the tutorial? Oh, good to ask.
Yeah.
Press space, W, or arrow to jump over obstacles or out of harm's way. Okay. Dashing. When speed of the essence, use shift or the right mouse button to gain a burst. Alright, let's use shift or okay. If violence is of the essence, use left mouse button. Okay, so I can... do you think I'm doing any damage to it?
Aye.
Some offensive enemies can be stunned during some of their attacks. Oh, don't know. Hey! Ow! I think it's a bit of a shame I can't see. Oh, I like that.
Ah.
No idea. Length of your jump by dashing in mid-air. Okay. Okay, that's quite good. Just the audio. Quit the game or restart the level. Press the escape or P key. Okay. You have successfully completed the tutorial.
Oh.
Meet Gads. Tightens his grip around his sword. Okay. Should have turned back when you still had the chance. Ah! It's terrifying. Is he hurting me? Oh, he is. He's jumping on me. He's actually hurting me. I didn't realise that.
Oh.
Last but halfway there. Mysterious voice, congratulations, you have proven your strength. You're only carrying me so far. Gats is strong, but that didn't make him worthy. His strength is only half. You almost killed me. Okay. Your next challenge will require thought planning. 2 opponents, the Swordsman Morno or the Paran Zazanik. It's up to you to choose who you will face and why. Well, there is still Gats. Fight him. Fight is over, I won. Yet that doesn't stop him from chasing after you when he recovers. If I leave him
You can decide.
Well, I don't know anything about him. What do you reckon? I'll be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they give me quite enough information to make the decision. I was so excited from your victory I forgot to tell you about your reward. It appears that my reward was full health, which is good. Well, yes and no. It is as much reward as is part of your test. Down below are 2 enchantments. They have their positives and their negatives. It's up to you to decide whether they will be useful. You are free to change and ponder them as much as you want here. But once you walk through a door, your decision will be final. Consult the statue next to them if you need. Is there anything I can call you? Silence for a few moments. I am the keeper of Eodum. Really? You prefer to me say if you wish. Alright, keeper. Okay, I can't see what's down there. I'll just drop down. Oh! So I can choose either one. I can do... So this one over here. E? Ah. Statue 2. Enchantments in the scrolls next to me. Yeah. Alright. The green scroll at my sword will empower yours. Your sword, however, will dull. The red scroll will make your body lighter, allowing you to step on air. Make you more fragile. Oh, I don't fancy that. I'll definitely have that one. Is that selected or not selected, do you think? Selected. And there's Gads. Hello, Gads. How you doing? Well, that was fast. Rematch? No. You won and I respect that. You spared me, which I also respect. So, lost to Morno in the past. I'm free to share experience with you. Almighty jumping technique. He seemed to struggle with aiming up. So that's Morno. He may use a sword, but he prefers staying at range using that wind thing he does for his advantage. But give him a taste of his own medicine. That's Gat. Which one's Morno? This one. Morno the swordsman. Okay, so we got some hints about Morno the swordman. Pause the waves. He's down now. Oh dear. Yeah, his text is tiresome. I don't see what he's running into. Alright, which is a shame because actually it's quite nice. Alright, or we can go over here and face some other fella. What's this one? Zanuck the Pyromancer. See, I quite fancying Zanuck, but he's told me all about Morno now.
Yeah.
Can you remember what he said? Because he said so much, I've sort of forgotten. What did you say?
Well, he says something about wind attack
like
or something.
Attack from above or something?
He said that he doesn't. He cannot aim up really well.
So maybe I should have this one, which makes me walk on air.
Wasn't it? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, that was. Okay, 2 enchantments. The green scroll of my sword will empower yours, allowing you to repel magic. That doesn't sound very useful for the. Okay, the red scroll will make your body lighter, allowing you to step on air. Quite useful for attacking from above. Choose one or. All right, let's do this one then. He seems to be telling me that. I have no idea which ones when these are selected or not.
So when it's not.
Okay. Alright, so that one is selected. Alright.
Yeah.
Let's go in here then. Morno. Challenging him was a mistake, if I'm honest. Just getting worked. I suspect we will never find out what happens if I defeat him. How do I get near him? Oh,
Can you deflect? Can you deflect his? Oh, he.
Yeah, okay.
I think he gets tired after a bit. So you have to dodge for a bit and then...
Yeah. Oh, come on. I'm not quite sure how the double jump is supposed to help me. Ah! Oh, that's how it helps me. Ah.
I think you should try to get into teleport. I think that's what gets me tired.
So the double jump is what? Great!
So it does get slowly.
I'm not entirely sure how. The problem is if I go near him, he just murders me with his. Because those things appear halfway down the platform. Oh, crikey. And the timing is such that if you miss jump, you land just in time to be hit by one. Yeah. I'm not going to defeat Morno the Swordsman if I'm honest, Johan. This isn't going to happen. I'll have one more futile attempt. Maybe that's the way to do it. So I can actually jump all the way to it.
Yeah, I think jumping like that would.
Victory! There we go. So, I appreciate what they were trying to do, but if I'm honest, Gatz's advice was not helpful. And I kind of feel that even if I hadn't had his advice, I would still have done just the same. I suppose I had the double jump power though, didn't I? I have been outfoxed. Well done, Leo. This victory marks you worthy. Proceed to receive what you are. Okay. Let's go and get a reward. Hang on. I just defeated you. How did you get here before me? I'm very fast. I wanted to thank you. You were something or other. I was congratulate you for proving yourself and wish you well. Why would the Keeper encourage me to do that? A test, just as you have to prove, can prove you wouldn't fall victim to paranoia. Okay. I have no idea what's going on here. Let's go and find out. The Keeper, congratulations, Leo. In order to bring take it. Okay, you are destined to take Eodar. I thought he was called Eodar. I don't trust this Keeper, dude. I wonder if I can whack it. Ah! Ooh. The sword slices through the aspects of a hot knife through butter. The only sound that escapes is a voice full of venom. Clever little man, you must be very proud of yourself, are you not? This is not the end for me, do you hear? Do you hear? He's not happy. Silence. Ah, you survived your battles, saw through Idam's facade, and destroyed it. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I sort of lost track of the story a bit. But I think I had an interesting diegetic choice at the end.
Yeah, that was interesting because one of the choices wasn't, stated explicitly.
Yeah. Let's start going through the masking.
Yeah. So we can start looking at the presentation.
And in the meantime, I'll go through this and I'll try the other route.
So there's audio. I can hear there's music.
Yeah, there's audio and sound effects, and it's all pretty good. And it changes as well in the fights. It's got a different backing track that's more kind of upbeat and kind of. So I actually think the graphics and audio are pretty good.
Yeah, so the graphics are consistent, effective, and appealing. It sounds like, and the music as well.
Yeah, so I think the graphics and audio are both at the at least
excellent level.
The good level. Yeah, probably at excellent level actually. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Controls? Actually, I mean, I'm not very good at using them, but they're pretty good actually. And I quite like the way that you defeat these guys. There is actually a way to defeat them, right? There is a strategy for defeating them, a pattern.
So that kind of leads us to the information design, maybe, because in a sense, the way they've designed the bosses and the way they do the stuff is kind of information, you know.
Yes.
In a sense.
Well, the information design. So what we got? You've got your health at the top. You've got the health of the boss on the right. You've got little flashes when you do damage to them. You've got little flashes when you do damage to you, or when they do damage to you rather.
There's also the when you choose the scrolls and all that.
Yeah, that's a little bit confusing actually.
That's what I was going to say.
So So let's kill him. I know the mysterious voice is going on a bit. Yeah. Got him. Sorry, Gats. I'm interested in what you have to say. You weren't very helpful. Right, let's come here. Yeah, etc, etc, etc. There's a lot of text, I have to say. Let's do this one. And let's go and fight the guy over here. Oh, hang on. What's that down there? Oh, E. Greetings, human. It talks. Mush not. Mush is mush. I was a bit... Yeah, see, I'm getting very bored with these. I can't help myself. You meant the pyromancer. How so? Oh, he tells me about the pyromancer. You believe he is a bird. He very bad bird, not fly very high. Be 1.5 mushes off the ground at best. Okay.
So he jumps.
Thanks, Mush. Thank Mush, leave Mush alone. Mush have important business. Okay, so you get help from Mush.
Oh, interesting.
He side eyes you. Oh, I forgot to practice my special power. What was my special power?
Wow. Wasn't it deflecting magic?
It don't appear to be deflecting much magic. It appears to be dying.
You did deflect, I think, something of one of the flames.
Yeah, okay. Okay. No idea whether this is the right strategy.
I think it's part of the right strategy.
Got him! It censors the ground. Well done. Well done, Leo. You have proven yourself worthy. Proceed. Okay, so while I'm doing this, what was... so I think, yeah, graphics and sound, really good, I think.
Excellent.
I think
information design?
Information design... Yeah.
It's there.
It's there. I think all key information is shown. It's pretty clear as well. The only thing is... The special power you get isn't perhaps obvious.
Yeah.
So there I got a bit lost, but I think it's still good. All key information is shown.
Yeah, I think.
What is he going to tell me? How'd you get here before me? Magic. But you were. Was I merciful? I just got bored, I think, and ran off. It's a test. I still don't quite understand what's going on here. He's giving me a clue to break it. Don't break the thing. Yeah, okay. Blah. So let me go and take it and see what happens. As you reach towards the item in the statue's hand, your own hand sticks to it. A loud voice pierces your ears, not the keeper's, but a voice of pure malice. Well done, my good keeper. I suppose former keeper, you've done your part. And I graciously allow you to leave. As for you, Leo, this is the only... As you hear the keeper's voice last time, you are now Adam's keeper, tasked with attracting more people to satisfy the cruel item's need for violence. Oh dear. Alright. Okay, we're done with presentation, aren't we? Let's talk about meaningful play. Mechanics, we've got kind of, I can move left and right, I can jump, I can double jump, I can attack with my sword, I've got a dash, although I didn't Well, I did use that actually to get past Gats, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I've got the selecting different things. So I think we've definitely got a set of complementary mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure it's a wide set of complementary mechanics.
It gets
maybe
closer, but yeah,
maybe
halfway.
Halfway. Controls are actually pretty good. So I think it's got a reasonable set of smooth controls, which is good. Are they intuitive? Sort of, I would say. I was kind of getting into them and using them properly as I was playing.
That sounds like a game in between.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think probably that's true. And then bugs. I didn't spot any bugs. And I think the game's of reasonable complexity, so I think that's an excellent as well.
Yeah.
Right. Story engine. I'll restart the game in a minute, but let's think about this for a second. So this is instances where the game world impacts the story or the story impacts the game world. So I'm guessing that the story impacting the game world is things like I'm making decisions about whether to kill those early guardians, and then they come back and tell me stuff, right? That's one place where it affects it. And in terms of although it's a diegetic choice, it's still a story choice, effectively. And then in terms of game world affecting the story, there's things like, I guess the end choice, where do I destroy the thing or do I take the thing? And those two actions have different consequences.
It's
fairly minor, but it is there. So I think we're definitely at the satisfactory level, which is where there's examples of game affecting story and story affecting game. So I think we're sort of at least satisfactory for both. To be good, there has to be a number of examples. I'm trying to think of what the number of examples are. Because you've obviously I can.
You have the choices of a boss, and a choice of a power-up.
Yeah, but those aren't really story sort of choices. The story choices are: do I spare the bosses, and then they give me extra information, right? And what do I do at the end? And because that affects the ending I get. And I think that's it, right?
Yes, let me see. So they have you either spare or kill.
Yeah.
Then you can choose a power-up or not choose a power-up.
But that doesn't affect the story, right? Whether I get a power-up affects the gameplay. So that choice has nothing to do with the story. The story choices that happen that I make in game are killing or not killing bosses, destroying the thing at the end or not. Yeah. And it blurs the line because they're kind of they're diegetic choices, so they're choices I make in the game world, but they're still narrative choices. So I think that maybe the solution is to go between, right? Again, so satisfactory is some examples, and we haven't got and good is a number, right? And it says it impacts them in important ways. So I think they are, certainly the end choice is important, but a number is a bit of a stretch. So maybe halfway between satisfactory for good for both of them.
Yes, yeah, I think that.
And then in terms of agency, and the richness of the structure,
so they do have a few branching points at least, in a sense.
Yeah.
So sparing, killing, that's a branch, a small branch.
Yes. So you've got that for each boss, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the choice at the end as well. So that's kind of 3 critical choices.
There's a few more that you haven't really seen. So, for example, right now at the beginning, you can actually just exit the dungeon, which is a choice, but yeah.
Again, The problem with this is an example of not managing player agency. Yes, because what you should be doing is managing me back into the dungeon. Okay, but there's a choice there. Was there any others?
Well, so it's the beginning choice. It's the spare or kill. Then you can choose a power up or not choose a power up. So you have 3 choices actually.
But that's not really a story choice, is it? That doesn't affect the story, does it?
Maybe just a tiny bit. Actually, does it? No, I don't think it affects the story.
Yeah. I don't think it does.
Let me see. So.
So, yeah. So in terms of riches, I think we've got
Some interesting choices.
Well, I think we've got several branching points, right?
Yes. Several branching points.
Sorry, this music's quite loud. Let's get through this bit.
A number of branching points.
Well, throughout the game. So there's. I think it's halfway between the two. We've got a branching point early on, right? Actually, we do, I suppose, don't we? We've got each boss and then the final thing. So they are throughout the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're kind of. It still feels like there's these several points. There's not lots of little points all the way through. So maybe halfway between the two.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the quality of the voices. Quality of the voices, because I'm reading mysterious voice. The quality of the choices.
Yeah.
There are some interesting choices. I think whether to kill or not. The problem is they don't set it up, so you don't really. I've got no idea, of the background or why you should do anything really. But it's still an interesting choice. Do I spare them or not? Right. And in terms of managing player agency. As I said, the example where you can exit the beginning is an example of them not managing player agency, right? But otherwise, they do things. So, for example, if you don't choose a power-up, they say that's fine. You don't have to talk to the bosses. You can. So they've made some attempts to get around those things. So I think maybe halfway between satisfactory and good for the quality of the choices, in that they are interesting choices, but not backed up fully. There's a little bit of an attempt to manage player agency. Yeah.
That leads us to poetics.
So what I'm actually doing in this game is I'm collecting powers and fighting bosses, right?
Yeah.
What's that? So that this is this to do with trusting strangers? Is this one? That's the moral they're going, right?
Yeah. It's like look before you leap, which is the fox and the goat. And in a sense, the story itself, at least from what I remember, it did tell you, be careful what you choose or think it throughout. So they do emphasize.
Yeah. Well, and there's. So I can see what they're trying to do because they bring the bosses back to kind of help you. So this is talking to Gats here is effectively looking before I leap, right? So I find out a bit more about what's going on, but it's not really embedded in the gameplay. It's here, it's in the story, but the gameplay is, they're trying to give me the strategies, but I don't know if it's that effective. Yeah, it doesn't really. A game which kind of embedded look before you leap would have a mechanic where understanding what's coming up is a kind of a key part of the game, and and that kind of gaining that information is a critical part of you actually succeeding and interacting with the game, right? And it doesn't quite work here. So I think satisfactory is that they don't interfere with one another, but the key mechanics have little to do with the story. And a good is they complement one another, and the key mechanics are in keeping with the themes of the story. And excellent is that they support one another and it emphasises the themes of the story. It's probably good, right? They're in keeping with the themes, but I don't think they do much to emphasise them really.
Yeah. They do something, but not. As you said, it's more in the dialogue. And
I mean, even that might be a little bit generous, because what you're actually doing is dashing and jumping and hitting stuff, right? That's what you're really doing. But they've just layered this stuff on the top. But I kind of think the layering, it is meaningful because it's your strategies essentially of how to defeat the bosses. So yeah, I think probably good.
What do you think about the pacing and techniques?
So what are the techniques? We've got the dialogue that comes up.
We have the choices where you either kill or not, and that's an in-game choice.
Yeah, so it's kind of, you could argue it's sort of maybe scripted events basically in game.
You have the ending again, which is another kind of.
You've got that end screen, haven't you, like a cutscene at the end. So I think they do have multiple techniques, and they're consistently used, right? Because the bosses behave in the same way. You've got the end screen only appears at the end; it doesn't appear at these critical points. So I think I think kind of maybe there's not that many occurrences of it though. So again, maybe halfway between good and excellent.
Yeah.
And then pacing is interesting.
Yeah, it does feel like there are. So the first boss is kind of hard. Then you get some rest, and then the second boss, which in both cases was harder. And then the end. So there are, in a sense, a few peaks. Or at least it's ascending.
Yeah. So I think this time I didn't take the special power, and I'm wondering if that's going to have much of a. Well done. Lights out. That's brilliant. But then this bit at the end is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of nothing happens. It's like a conversation. I saw this sword here, and I thought, oh, there's going to be a big boss fight, and it's going to be I'm going to be fighting the voice I'm hearing. But then it turns out to be a statue. Can I just leave? Not interested. I think I have to take it at this point. Can I get out? Okay, so I'm not sure about the pacing. I think there is some ascending pacing, but I'm not sure there's a clear final peak.
That's the thing. It's kind of falls flat just at the end.
Yeah, so maybe that's a satisfactory, right? Some ascending pacing.
Yeah.
And then that takes us to feedback.
So let's see. They consider two main points from the drop-in sessions.
Yeah.
So the first feedback is consider how the gameplay would interact with the story. Just as mentioned earlier, the player has to make a variety of choices leading to alternative representations of the story and alternative endings.
Yeah.
This seemed like the easiest and most obvious solutions considering the idea we had at the time. And the second feedback was, how would you make sure that the idea corresponds to a single fable? And we were concerned that the fox and the goat would easily overlap with the tortoise and the eagle. However, our solution was to keep ourselves trying to make the game correspond to the fox and the goat without worrying too much, but ask the people who would play test the game later and ourselves if it overlaps or if it is being identified in another fable. I mean, I see why they think it can overlap with the other story, because you're like, I want the power up, and I want more stuff, but it's not. Yeah, in this case, I do think they made it clear that it's the fox and the goat, at least to me.
No, I'm also. I'm not necessarily sure about that, because it's not about. The problem isn't that you get the fables mixed up. The problem is that the message of what the fable you're aiming for doesn't come through. Right? So when you write a story, you're not trying to make sure it's differentiated from all other stories. You're just trying to make sure that the thing you're trying to say with that particular story is right. Did they have anything else?
So they also had some feedback from playtesters, and it's like they've asked people who play the game stuff, and the people, and then they implemented or took into consideration what the other people said, and fixed the game.
So what did they actually do to try and differentiate them?
So I think the thing they say is our solution was to keep ourselves trying to make the game correspond to the fox and the goat without worrying too much, but ask the people who would playtest the game later.
Yeah.
So they would continue with making the game, and if at some point it started overlapping, then they would try to bring it back. But
I'm not convinced by that feedback. It's not clear to me that they've articulated any sort of feedback really, or done any changes as a result of that feedback. What about the other feedback they got from their playtesters?
So they asked which fables do you identify in the game, if any. Someone answered, it really portrayed this very well, as Leo didn't look before he left and freed the former keeper and became his replacement, trapped in the well. That's one. So there's also about the game difficulty. And people said that at first I didn't know what to do versus the speedman, but I thought it required double jump, which I didn't use, and beat him without it somehow. I completed the game without dying once. Yeah, so it's mostly just the people giving some feedback.
Yeah. And did they actually say any changes they made at all? Have they said anything that they changed as a result of any feedback?
It doesn't seem like it.
That's a shame. So, I mean, I think that has to be absent. I mean, there's no... They've not reported, to get up to poor, it was like feedback is not addressed, but some other positive changes have been made. And then passes, feedback was addressed, but the changes have had limited success. But they haven't made any changes, they haven't done anything as a result of the feedback.
I mean, the only thing that I'm seeing is maybe the first feedback, which is consider how the gameplay would interact with the story, because previously they would have, that was before they had a demo and gameplay, so they were giving ideas, and they had a different idea, or similar but kind of different, so they changed the game idea to pivot to what, so the gameplay would interact more with the story. So they did do something, but maybe it's because
it was to change the direction of the entire game.
Yeah, exactly, not with the gameplay itself, and that's why it's harder to
well,
see.
I mean, if that's the case, then they have addressed that feedback, right? And the challenge has been somewhat successful. They've got something which is just about fitting the story. So that feels more like the satisfactory level.
Yeah. Satisfactory, which is
so let's go with that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it's a nice idea to build a game around a series of boss fights and to link them together in this way. So I think they've done a nice job. And I think the way they've delivered the story is really good. So yeah, enjoyed that one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so our last game is simply called The Fox and the Goat, which at least means we know what they're.
I wonder which story. Yeah.
Oh, again, I'm just going to do the audio balance. There we go. Okay, so here we are. The Fox and the Goat. Looks nice. Got some nice music going on. Nice clear start. Font's good. The goat was on a long journey home through the woods on a very hot day when he got extremely thirsty. A space to proceed. It was then he came across a well. Hearing splashing sounds within the well, he curiously peered in and saw a fox floating around in a bucket. Goat, hello. What are you doing there with a bucket? Oh look, that's an adorable fox.
Yeah.
I was just so hot and thirsty out there, so I thought I'd come in to cool myself and have a drink. I see, how's the water? Extremely delicious and cooling. Why don't you come in and have a taste yourself? You'll definitely enjoy it. I'm going to have a look around first.
Yeah.
Okay. There he goes. He's going to have a look around first. The goat went walking around to see if he could find some other way to obtain water from the well, when he met an old man. Called out to the goat politely with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes, plastered across his wrinkled face. Hello there, goat. Could you help me pick that flower at the top of the cliff there? Give it as a gift to my wife, but it's too hard for our Lee to climb to the top. The pathway to the cliff looks rather dangerous.
Oh.
It's me and my wife's wedding anniversary. I was hoping to surprise her. Her favourite flower. Could you really not do this old man a favour? Please, please. The goat finally conceded to helping him. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Alright, I'll help you. Okay, thank you. So, alright, so my little bit of agency there, so managing me. It's like, no, please get the flower. No, really.
Yeah.
Game 2, platformer game. Safely pick the flower. Loading game.
Okay.
What?
Oh, wow.
That's why I'm laughing at the goat. This was a bit unexpected. Yeah. So I've got to get the flower. Oh, it's always dangerous to kind of mix games. I suppose you could argue that what I was playing so far was just a kind of a extended cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
What? What happened then? Why did I fall through that, do you think?
I'm not sure. Maybe you should jump on...
Some of them are turning, and some of them aren't.
Ah.
Oh, it's not clear to me. Where's the flower? There's little arrows kind of implying that I got here.
It's really dangerous.
Yeah, like, thanks, old man, honestly. Oh, no, that's bad. I wonder if I can go up here instead. No.
Oh.
We're going to spend all our time with me failing to go on this platform, aren't we? Ouch. So, it would be nice to teach me about the horribly broken things before it became lethal. Oh, I can't get back up there now, so I have to go this way.
Ah.
Okay. Right.
Interesting.
Okay.
Almost.
So that time makes me avoid the. So this must be the top of the mountain with the flower.
And some apples, yeah.
Yeah, he won't. What's that? Okay. It's not the top of a cliff, is it? If the old man said, "Would you mind going on a 10-mile walk up a mountain with lethal spikes?" I might have had a different view. Honestly. Okay, here we go. I can't jump through them. Crikey. Well, that's a big old apple up there. That's quite light. I like that. I've got a bit of a choice in game here. Do I go and get the apple?
Yeah.
Where I really want to go is over here. Narrative's kind of suspended for now, though. Oh no.
Oh.
He couldn't pick the flower and returned to the old man empty-handed. All right. I was so close. I hope. I hit space by accident. The old man whipped out a rope and tied it around the goat's neck, laughing wickedly.
No.
I'll have you for dinner. Stranger with a dangerous task.
Wow.
little ghost with the horns. All right. Let's. Okay.
Let's try the fox, baby.
I'm gonna help the fox. Can't be any worse. And the fox is really cute. Sure.
Yeah.
The well is much deeper. The well is rather deep. It's easy. I'm Benjo. I will run up your back and escape. Then I'll help you out afterwards. What do you think? Might you know about this? It's the only way you can get out. Do you leave your tail behind with me? Do you want some out of the well? Oh, the fox conceded. Oh, you can correctly answer 3 out of 5 of my riddles. This is like another. This is a bit random. I'll be honest, but okay. Let's go along with your original suggestion. All right, let's do the riddles. Deal. Riddle game. Oh, correctly answer 3 out of 5. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the noon, and 3 legs in the evening? Well, that's a man.
That's easy.
That's a man, right? That's the.
Yeah.
But is the right word man, or should I be putting person?
Man. Yeah, man is okay.
Man. What goes up but never comes down? Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's correct.
What goes up but never comes down? I don't know. Lots of things go. What goes up but never comes down? I've got one correct answer. What goes up but never comes... So, you did tell me earlier on that they put the correct answers in their game notes, right? But I haven't seen that. So, have you looked at them all? Do you know what the answers are?
I've looked at this one.
Alright, don't look at the future ones, because I think it's interesting to see how we get on. But what goes up but never goes down? I don't know. What should we say?
Yeah. The fox or something.
What goes up? Yes. A fox? No.
The
more of this there is, the less you see. I don't know. Darkness?
Maybe. Darkness.
Yes. What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it? You can break your heart.
Silence.
Silence?
Silence?
Silence or heart? What do you think?
I mean, both are kind of.
What do you reckon, heart or silence? Let's go for heart. No.
What?
I should have gone with silence. What word contains cities that only has 3 syllables? Alphabet, presumably?
Yeah, maybe alphabet.
As the goat managed to correctly answer these 3 of the fox's riddles, the fox had managed to leave his tail with the goat, as what was agreed. He quickly helped the goat out, got his tail back in return. They both parted ways. The goat safely made his way home.
That's really.
There we go. Right, let's start going through the criteria for this, because this is going to be interesting, I think. Because although
there's also another, you should fall down the fox and then just agree with the fox.
Okay, let's do that one. But in the meantime, presentation. Because I think actually, despite it feeling a bit random, I think it's going to do pretty well with this.
The music, at least. And audio.
And I think it had sound effects when I was in the platformer, right?
Yeah, jumping, yeah.
So I think I think it's at least satisfactory.
Yeah, there are audio effects and music. Is it complementary audio?
Does it change when we get into certain situations? I can't remember. Sure. So I've just jumped in.
Yeah, that was a nice effect.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm tempted to put them up at the good, I think. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The good place it's for.
Oh. Fox has changed, but still I like the little animation. Game 1, strength game. Get the goat strength to max so you can gather strength to maintain your position. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I doing?
You have to bring the energy bar to max.
Am I supposed to be tapping it in time to the...
I'm not sure, actually.
I'm not actually sure what I'm doing, but it's working. I managed to get out of the well. I'm out! Goodbye, friend. Wait!
Oh.
What about me? But you promised! You foolish old fellow. You've never gone down before inspected the way up. Means of escape. Yeah. That's it. Oh dear, that's a bit sad. Dear. Anyway, where were we? So yeah, I think
the audio at the good level.
I think yeah. I mean, this is nice. I think it's complementary. It changes to match the scenes. There's enough going on. The graphics is interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because within each portion, they're consistent and actually quite effective, right? So I love the little animations, and the cutscenes are done really nicely. And actually the little platformer is really nice as well. But they're totally different from each other.
Yeah.
So satisfactory, and you know, I mean, I would have said that if it had all been in one of those styles, it would actually be up at excellent, consistent, effective, and appealing, right?
Yeah.
But what we have here is we've got effective and appealing, but not consistent.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to measure that, really. So I think I mean, maybe we should just knock it down 1 for that. It's kind of, and say, look, the graphics are good, but you just got this too big a change between things.
So, would that be?
So it's whether we knock it down to either good or satisfactory is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wildly different.
I mean, we can look at it at 3 different games.
Yeah.
And then each game has consistent graphics, but if we bundle those 3 games in one, then that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, if we're debating, let's just go between. So halfway between satisfactory and good for graphics.
Yeah.
Information design's interesting, because what is the information? I've got my choices, my options, they're there. I suppose on the platformer I've got my health.
And lives.
I wonder if I go through. I'll see if I can finish the platformer this time, maybe.
So you have health and lives. on
And
the
it shows me
strength
that
game.
stuff.
Yeah, on the strength game you have the left right thing.
So
And then on the riddle game you also have the timer, and
yeah.
so there's definitely, and there's like a little tutorial, you know, left right space.
Yeah.
Which shows you how to.
So, and like here, like this platform is spinning, and therefore, is it gonna? I wish they applied what we said before, and showed us the effect of those platforms when it wasn't lethal. Oh, I should have done that, should I? Yeah. So I think the information design is okay. It's kind of, you know, the information is shown. So
yeah, most information. I think all the key information that you need is there.
I think so. So that's kind of, that puts it as good, I think.
Yeah, like
What do
as
I
I said,
know?
there's the. I mean, for the 3 games, I guess everything you need to know is mostly there.
Yeah. Right, don't jump and bang my head on the spikes. That was really stupid. Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything in the interactions that don't know. But I think it's all, you know, all communicated quite well. So yeah, I think the information design is at the good level.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh.
Right. So that would then lead us to meaningful play. So bugs. Do we have any bugs?
I don't think we've got any bugs, have we? I've not seen any. It all seems to work pretty well.
Oh, by the way, is there any audio right now? Like
Yes.
jumping sounds or something, because
Yes.
I cannot hear.
Yes, I've got jumping sounds.
Okay.
And oh dear.
Oh wow. That's
Okay, can I jump up there? Oh. Alright. Yay.
This is there's definitely quite a lot of pacing here. Like it starts easy and then
Yes.
it becomes harder. But that's for later. So yeah, bugs, no major. So game is reasonably complex, but there are infrequent minor bugs. Is the game complex?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is
kind of
excellent.
feels.
The game's complex. There's no major bugs.
Yeah.
Oh. Ah.
This is getting really hard.
Yeah, I'm presuming I'm supposed to do it this way. Yeah. It's quite forgiving though. Like then I did actually. Oh darn.
Oh,
Oh, and I've got a
checkpoint.
Checkpoint. So
That's good.
yeah, no, it's quite forgiving that the you know, the clipping boundaries quite sort of tight, as it were. Oops.
Huh.
Jesus. Okay. Where do we get to?
So bugs, no apparent bugs, and game is reasonably complex.
Yes, I think
and controls. How do the controls feel?
They're pretty good, actually. Yeah, I kind of... I'm missing a little bit the animation, I suppose. That would give me feedback on which direction I'm going.
Yeah.
But... yeah, not bad. Yeah, so I think the controls are fine. I wouldn't say they were enormously smooth. But yeah, they're perfectly good. So I think we're kind of... yeah.
Satisfactory level.
Satisfactory, reasonable set of reasonable controls. And they're not hugely complex either, but I think that might be the flowers. Yay!
Oh, finally.
Return to the old man. There you go, old man. Have your lovely flowers. The old man whipped out a rope, laughing wickedly. I'll have you for dinner. It was too slow. Oh, hang on a minute. That's interesting. So we managed to escape, and now we've got a rope. Is that because he had the flower?
Yeah.
I've got a rope with me. Oh. The bucket.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And that's it.
Okay.
Right. Let's talk about the story engine. Well, actually, have we finished Meaningful Play? Have we still got some to do?
There's still the mechanics themselves.
Well, we've got making the narrative choices. We've got jumping around the platform, collecting the apples, which is obviously health. That's it. So there's not that many mechanics.
I mean, what about the riddles and
the what? Sorry?
the other, the riddles and the other?
Oh, I suppose you're right. Yeah. So you've got the yes. You're right. There's the riddles and there's the there's the strength test. So okay. So we do have a decent set of mechanics then. You're quite right. I forgot about those. But the problem is they're not necessarily complementary mechanics, right? They're completely different sets of games.
Yeah.
So I think we've got... So pass would be a set of inconsistent mechanics, right? And satisfactory would be a set of consistent mechanics. And good is a set of complementary mechanics. So again, a set of inconsistent mechanics sounds a bit harsh because within each of the spaces, they're fine. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that so maybe halfway between the two, because it's just so disjoint. Yeah. So the story engine's interesting. So game world, story to game world. That definitely works, right? Because and it's very
completely changes the game.
Yeah, it's very clunky because it's just like 2 different games. But that's there, right? So there are definitely some examples of where the story impacts the game world, which is satisfactory.
Yeah, and
game
then
world
there's
to
also
story. I suppose do you succeed or fail? I suppose in the games.
Yeah. If you get a flower or not.
So and there's more than one. So again, it's satisfactory. I think some examples where the game world impacts the story, right? But it's just. That's it. Clunky is the word I'd use, right? Clunky.
Yeah. But it does work.
But it does work. Yeah, it's there. So I think have we got all the outcomes now? Is there any that I should try to?
Let me check. Actually, you tried both platformers. Well, if you lose at the strength game or the riddles.
Let's try that. Let's try losing at the strength game. So okay, so what we're on to now, richness of structure. So this is to do with where are the branching points and what the quality of the choice is. So what are the branching points? I mean, actually there are a few.
Quite a few, yeah, actually.
There's quite a few.
Or at least, yeah, a number of them.
So we've definitely got several branching points. There's what do we do with the fox? How do we help the fox? What do we do with the man? How do we help the man? Right?
It's interesting because with the man there's a pseudo choice where yes, you cannot help him, but then he persuades you and you have to help him.
Yeah, so that's kind of managing your. That's in the agents. That's kind of in the choices, isn't it? So I think the problem is that again, because it's separate games, it's like your narrative choices are kind of suspended while you play this platformer, right? So I think that stops them getting excellent, which is branching points throughout the game, because then there's that whole section where there isn't any choices. But I do think they've got several branching points, so I think the richness of structure is probably good. Yeah.
I mean, you did mention, I don't know if that would count, but there were the choices whether you go for the apple to increase your health or not. But I don't know if that's
that's not within the narrative though, right? That's kind of that's level design.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now if you lose at this, don't do anything.
I can do it just by pressing one button quickly. It's a weird system. Fell into the water. Don't know. Died of hunger.
Oh.
Nice. All right. So richness of structure I think is good. We've got several branching points, but not throughout. Quality of choices. We've definitely got attempts to manage player agency. Right, we spotted one of those. So that's what we're looking for at the kind of good level. But are the choices interesting? We're being asked to what to do. I mean, again, the problem is they feel kind of arbitrary, right? Because we've got no reasons to help the fox or not help the fox. We've got no. The thing that really makes choices interesting is when you have conflicting goals, right? That's what makes choices interesting. And you're having to make narrative decisions within a context of conflicting goals. And the problem here is that because I don't really have any goals exactly, there's nothing to conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I some of them are kind of they're not calculations. I'm not, they are. I am making choices,
but not informed necessarily.
Yeah, not informed. Yes, So I think kind of, in a way that means that at the past there's a few interesting choices, and the good is some interesting choices and attempts to manage player agency. And I think what we have here is actually quite a lot of uninformed choices, but attempts to manage player agency. So maybe between those two conflicting things, we end up at satisfactory.
Yeah. Sounds right.
And what about the poetics? So, the narrative and gameplay, do they interfere with each other or conflict? Or
that's interesting.
So the story has a moral, but the gameplay is clicking on things, fiddling with the strength bar, and a platformer.
And thinking about the riddle.
So I think they're totally irrelevant to one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're in conflict, right? It's not that I'm kind of collecting stuff and I'm the whole look before you leap thing. I mean, I'm jumping, I suppose. That's about it. I think it's just satisfactory. The narrative and gameplay don't interfere, but they've got nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And then what about pacing? Because we start off with this kind of extended interactive cutscene, and then we get the kind of weird platformer, and then we get the kind of denouement at the end of either kind of resolution with the old man or with the fox. But again, it feels to me like the in terms of the interaction, the climax is almost in the middle. Is there any kind of sense of ascending pacing and drama? I mean, you kind of build up, I suppose. You find the goat. You find the fox. I need to help the fox. You find the mat. So there's a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's not really a clear final peak or a kind of dramatic end. There's no.
So there is quite a dramatic end of you get eaten by the old man. That's quite unexpected.
Like I said, that's the denouement. That's what happens after the climax. But what is the climax?
Okay, yeah.
So the climax is, I reach the top of the mountain and pick a flower, or I die, or I let the fox out, and it's like there's no.
Okay, yeah.
So I think again, I think saying the pacing is unclear or flat is a bit unfair, but
I mean,
again, ascending pacing it doesn't feel like it's consistent. So maybe halfway between pass and satisfactory for pacing.
Yeah.
But so the techniques is interesting as well. So where I think they do well is with the techniques, right? Because they've got some lovely cutscenes, they've got some dialogue.
Managing player agency as well through the dialogue, I guess.
So we've got good would be use of more than one game writing technique, and they're definitely there, right?
Yes.
Appropriate and consistent use of more than one dialogue technique. And I think they've got that as well. They use it consistently. You've got different cutscene endings. You've got, it's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's probably up at the excellent for techniques. So what did they say for feedback?
Okay, that's interesting. Let me check. Also, I don't know if we mentioned that, but let me just check. For how the story affects the game world, it's subtle, but for example, the goat, when the story is at the point where the goat has a rope around its neck,
yeah,
the goat on the image itself has a, so
yes.
it does affect.
Yes, that's a little bit of that's a little bit of environmental storytelling.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. I think
so it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
So go on. Yeah. So what was their feedback?
Yeah. So the feedback. Before the feedback lab, we had decided to do a visual novel, which just tells the story of the fox and the goat, and the player only had to click through different choices, which would lead them down to different endings. However, the lecturers in the feedback lab expressed their concern for the lack of play in our game idea.
Yes, always a problem.
Therefore, we changed the original visual novel idea into a visual novel-like game that incorporates mini-games which are triggered by the current undergoing events to increase the amount of play. Taking into mind the lecturer's concern over play, as well as their concerns on the huge workload that a game of mini-games may result in. The mini-games were designed to be simple and small, but also to fit the context of the narrative or task. For example, to connect the platform mini-game with the storyline, the mechanics of the goat are just jumping around and moving left and right. We also received feedback to think more about how the narrative affects the game world. To address this, we made it such that instead of just showing dialogue, the background would change and the characters carry different items on them, like a flower or rope.
Yes.
Furthermore, sound effects and character animations were also included to reflect events. And that's pretty much it. And I think from what they say, they did address the feedback.
So here's the issue, I think, is that they have addressed the feedback. I don't think it's been entirely successful because it's ended up with this kind of slightly fractured experience. What you need to do is you need to incorporate play into the visual novel, right?
Yeah.
So for example, by adding narrative puzzles, right, or other things that you can put in a visual novel relatively easily, things like resource management. Kind of putting in mini games is sort of like the nuclear option, and the problem is it does ends up feeling like two different games,
disconnected.
So is this a visual novel with a little platformer in it, or is it a platformer with kind of interactive cutscenes? So I think they have responded to feedback. But I would say it's satisfactory. Feedback was addressed and the changes have been somewhat successful. Right? They definitely have play. I mean, the other thing is making sure that the elements of play actually fit the story, because the play is just, like I said, it's just arbitrary, really. I mean, actually, it's quite a fun little platformer. I mean, I think they've done quite a nice job. But I'd have much rather played this platformer where I met the characters in the platformer, and then had kind of interactions with them, right? Like the beginning, when I find the well, make me find a well, right? You know, have the fox in the well. Let me talk to the fox, and the fox tells me to jump down, and then let me jump down in the platformer, right?
Make the choice implicit.
Do it actually, you know. So in that way would be to make the game a platformer, but integrate the choices. And the other way is, if you're going for a visual novel, is to bring play into the visual novel by having narrative puzzles, by having resource management issues, you know, those kinds of things, right? So yeah, and the riddles are always really dangerous as well, you know, because not everyone's good at riddles. They also didn't tell us the answer to the riddles, which is quite frustrating because we got at least one that we didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, I think Satisfactory, somewhat successful.
Oh, apparently, if you remember, the one that you answered heart and I answered silence.
Yeah.
If you remember that one, it was actually darkness.
Darkness.
What you cannot pick up, but becomes more of, or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. And what was the one that goes up but never down?
The age.
Oh, age. All right. So, I mean, I still like this. It's really fun. And you know, these things are really well done. But yeah. It just needed to be more thoughtfully knit together, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's our last game. So, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.